Hi guys, it's Cindy from Part-Time Permies and Bella. She's crashed. Um, I think there's a few people in the room, not too many. I see Kara. Mike is actually out today, so he is at a big fundraiser event that a bunch of chefs are getting together and putting together a 7-course meal that is a big fundraiser for scholarships for the culinary school from the Culinary Federation. So he's there tonight. He might be getting back sometime during the show, or it might be after the show. So we'll see how long of a show we have tonight because we won't have an Ask the Chef component tonight, being that you don't want my answers to that. Um, Good, thank you, and sent shop on the sound check. And now I have a cat and a baby in my lap. Um, of course. So, and a dog asleep on the couch, but no Mike today. Um, so yeah, Mike is at this event today, and he may be coming back in the middle of the show, maybe after the show. So we'll see if he shows up. Otherwise, it might be a little bit of a shorter show today. But we'll give you a little updates on things going on. Of course, with baby, with Bella around, not too many projects going on, although I have a list of videos that I'm working on organizing and getting done, and so we'll be starting to work on some of that, starting to work more on the web page for the pasta business and some of that stuff coming up. Um, but I wanted to do, for the most part, a little bit of Q&A from you guys if you have questions on anything related to how things are going around here. But I do have a few pictures, uh, if you don't mind, some baby pictures updates. I got the set of 3 pictures here that I wanted to show you that I thought was funny. One is I posted this one to Instagram a little while ago. I labeled it "Hear No Evil," but we also have "See No Evil," and of course, "Speak No Evil." So Bella's been very expressive in her hands and where she's putting them. Anyway, just a little side note on that I thought was cute and just posted up. How am I doing considering I had major surgery? Actually, I'm doing pretty darn well. I've I never took anything other than ibuprofen and acetaminophen for pain relief, and only took those for a couple of weeks after surgery. I'm still limited on the weight restriction through this week, so through Thursday. So 4 weeks post surgery will be Thursday. Um, been feeling well. The tricky part has just been trying to do things one-handed. So I'm still trying to get used to that. If you guys have any suggestions on how to try to get things done with, now I am starting to, just started this weekend actually, wear Bella. So that makes things a little bit easier, although I still have to have one hand free because um, she can't hold her head up yet, of course. So I have to make sure she's not flopping her head around. So I still need one hand not to hold her so much as to hold her head up, make sure that she doesn't have any neck issues with that. And with these, I don't know if you can see it at all, it's one that wraps around and you can wear, besides making sure her head's not flopping around, you also have to make sure she's not suffocating herself. So in other words, a few minutes ago, she was wanting to bury her head in me, and you got to watch that because you don't want her nose and mouth covered at the same time, obviously. So, but I'm doing all right. I am restricted on weight, and I'm restricted on carrying things on the stairs. Um, I'm otherwise feeling great. Been off pain meds for a while, so moved around. Also been walking a bit. So we finally, just this week, I've started, instead of just going out into the yard area, I've actually started walking. That does mean I've had to bundle this little one up. So I actually have a picture of her all bundled up, minus this. I have a sweater that goes over her and me and has a little hole for her head to come out with a little hoodie on it. Um, so she goes out with me, and we've been walking Puddin', so Puddin's been happy to be able to go back. We have had to be careful though because it is hunting season, of course, and we do have 2 neighbors who hunt, mainly bow hunting, but so we've been trying to stay out of their way, and that's also why Puddin has a bright orange jacket on, so that does help. I'm trying to see if I missed anything else there. So I have been moving around a bit more, uh, doing things, putting the chickens away. I've not been doing the lifting of things, but at least helping out a little bit more, and hopefully that'll expand this week as weight restrictions start to lift. So I'm trying to see if there's anything else in there. Nope. So definitely moving around a bit. Bella's been a little bit more awake, for a little bit longer periods of time. So we've started some playtime stuff when she's awake. We have this little boppy with basically a couple arches over it that can hang these little toys and stuff from it. She's not reaching and grabbing for things yet, but she's definitely looking around at things quite a bit. Started the tummy time exercises. For those of you guys who don't know, helps build their neck muscles a little bit. It has to be, definitely has to be monitored, but put them on a blanket on a hard surface and on their stomach, and they get some toys and distract them with that. And she will start, she actually does lift her head up to switch sides and pretty well. She just can't hold her head up very long yet. But she's 3.5 weeks, so not expecting that. One thing I am having issues with, which any suggestions out there I'd be happy with, she falls asleep, like most babies, she wants to fall asleep in my arms. Not even dad's arms so much, but she wants to be held in general. Sometimes when she falls asleep, I can put her down occasionally. She likes this thing, but this is a little unit that is not approved for safe sleeping when mom's sleeping or when she's not being watched. All that soft material around her increases the risk for SIDS if you're not careful. She could bury her head in that. So, but she won't sleep in her crib. Within minutes of my putting her down, she will wake up and start screaming. So, if anybody has suggestions on how to put a newborn down to sleep at night, I'd be very much open to any suggestions there. Other thing in the picture here, I'm sure Kara may have noticed, there's a little octopus that that we were sent in the mail as a gift. Has these little, it's crocheted, I believe, little legs that the woman who makes these makes them for premature infants for I think, a local hospital, so that the babies can hold on to those octopus legs rather than grabbing onto like cords and tubes and such that they're connected to. So since they have that reflex to just close their hands on anything that ends up in them, that works pretty well there. But yeah, Bella's not for reaching out grabbing at things yet, so unless I put it in her hands, she won't be grabbing at it yet. But which is nice because that means I can still wear my hair down at times, and she's still not grabbing at my hair yet unless it's accidental. But yeah, questions from you guys of how do you get a baby to sleep on a flat surface rather than a fuzzy soft surface, which isn't really allowed for safety reasons. She does not want to go down in that crib. So that's our biggest challenge right now, is just trying to get her trained to sleeping outside of my arms instead of just in my arms all the time. And of course I don't want to sleep with her because that also increases the risk for SIDS and such. Hello. Okay, so we have a few more people in the room, so I just want to say hi to Aim High, Linda, Green Raven, and we have a cat who just came back. Helix is going to get in my way. Diana, Justice Acres, Instant Shop, Kiri's in the room, and Kara's in the room. So, but yeah, any of you guys who are mamas out there, suggestions. I will take suggestions on how to put a baby down to sleep, and to get them to actually sleep and not wake back up. looking through that. Just finished processing 2 roosters for the first time all by yourself. That's cool. Linda, that first time I had to process chickens in the house, I actually took them somewhere because Mike was still trying to sell the house in New York. I was here with the chickens because they came with our house, and we had a couple mean ones that I didn't like. Plus, I was gonna take the flock down a little bit in numbers. So I didn't actually do it the first time until Mike got here. So that is cool that you did it yourself first time. Of course, we do it all the time now. Um, Looking to see if I missed anything else in there. So Green Raven said those pictures are adorable. Thank you. Um, Otherwise, yeah, we've really been just trying to get slowly work through things around the house to get things more organized as far as her clothing. I have a lot of hand-me-downs from um, my sisters, all different sizes. So trying to figure out which actually fit her was a big deal. Oh, Linda, I was going to say we actually processed our meat chickens. I think I was 37 weeks pregnant, and we had some friends over to help us out, but I ended up catching almost all the meat chickens for the processing. So imagine me with a big belly catching chickens. We did have them in a small space, but yeah. Helix, you're taking over the show. I don't know if you can see him at the very bottom of the screen. Covering up Bella. Um, okay. So we actually have a few projects we need to figure out soon with our chickens. They are still in our garden, and um, they need to move into their winter coops very soon. In fact, it's going to get quite cold this week. We're supposed to get 2 to 5 inches of snow tomorrow, and tomorrow night's supposed to get down into the teens. And they're still in our garden, so they're not going to be happy tomorrow because they don't like walking through the snow. So hopefully they'll still go out because they're in their summer coop. How's Puddin doing around Bella? Puddin is actually doing really well. She comes up, she greets, she's my shadow, so she's following me room to room. But when she comes up to greet me, she will come up and sniff Bella, and she basically that's all she does. She just kind of comes up and sniffs her and wags her tail, and she's definitely accepting her. She's kind of realized with little kids who are moving around, like toddlers and such, she's scared of, but the baby is actually fine. So that's yeah. Um, so she's actually been fine with her. So I think she'll get used to her and not have any problems once she gets up and moving more. Helix is pretty much ignoring Bella, except for the fact that every time I'm sitting down and holding her, Helix wants on my lap and wants attention. So he's not bothering Bella at all, except when I'm trying to nurse Bella, he's trying to get on my lap. Um, Most of the time I can just make room further down on my lap and he'll settle down there, but he's otherwise been all right with Bella as well. Make sure the baby gets used to noise in the house and don't try to keep the house too quiet. Yeah, our house tends to be fairly quiet in general, but she doesn't seem to react to too many loud noises either. Like if Puddin starts barking, she has no problems. Um, Someone's, coughing or someone walks in the room starting to talk, she's been all right with that. And obviously, she's sound asleep as I'm chatting with you guys right now. Um, so that part I have no problem with. I think what's happening is when I set her down in the crib, one, it's not warm. I mean, it's like a sheet that's on a mattress, that's pretty much cold. So I don't know. Maybe I could find a way to warm it up a little bit before setting her down. But she definitely knows as soon as I set her down, even if she's in really sound sleep, within minutes she's awake and screaming. So does not want to be there. Not sure what to do about that. White pick fence, hello, hello. Yep. So what we're trying to figure out right now, if you guys have any other suggestions, is how to get a newborn baby. We're not talking sleep training. I don't need her to sleep through the night. How to get her to fall to sleep in her crib rather than in my arms. Because she'll sleep in my arms all day if I let her. But yeah, so that's the biggest challenge because of course that keeps me from sleeping too much. Oldest was stuck to you until day in day out until 7 months. Oh my gosh. I'm hoping I'll be able to put her down before 7 months old. She's definitely a cuddle bug. Her favorite position actually is in a ball on my chest, like curled up almost like she is, but you can't quite see her, but in a tighter ball. But that doesn't work for enabling me to sleep very well. Baby is adorable. Okay. Been following, just couldn't get into live. Yeah, no, I have been. Yeah, our pictures have definitely switched from homesteading to baby pictures in the last couple weeks. So we will continue that, but we do have some projects that we need to get done before winter as well. Mike's been actually very busy. He has crazy number of orders. He's supposed to drive across the state tomorrow to deliver pasta across the state. I think he is planning on doing that. We're supposed to get a few inches of snow, so that could get interesting as well. I was thinking about going with him because I have family across the state, but my dad actually said it's supposed to be really slippery and not to come, so, but we do have to, Mike has to go anyway. Put a receiving blanket or a lap pad in the dryer for 50. Yeah, that's a good idea. And then wrap her up in that. That might work. Swaddling her. She's not one to have her arms down and swaddled. She likes to have her hands out. She's very much wants her hands by her face. So I've had her like kicking and moving around until she unswaddles her arms. She's strong. So I have tried that as well. I literally couldn't take a shower without her being able to see me. Yeah, I was able to take a shower by putting, this is something I have, it's a small unit that's on, put it on the table. This is like the only thing I can set her down in which she will stay quiet in for a short period of time. But it's the small little like hammock-like thing that's really fuzzy. Put it down on the table. I put this on the floor of the bathroom while I took a shower so I could take a shower. It's the only thing she'll stay quiet in for a halfway decent amount of time. I wouldn't say she would sleep her full naps in it, but she does like this fuzziness, I think. There are times where she'll refuse that as well, but put a hot water bottle in the crib for a few minutes, lay Bella down where the bottle was. Yeah, of course, that might work also. I was actually thinking of looking to see if there are some flannel sheets, some sort of fuzzier, softer material than the flat, cold sheets, and trying to see if I can find some of those. So that is something I need to look up. I've tried playing her music. She does get distracted during the day in her crib. I set her down in there, and we put these little wall stickers on the wall above the crib. There are actually a lot of farm things, so like a tractor and a horse and cow and stuff like that. And she will sit there and look at those for a while. There's also a mobile that if it's going, she will stay quiet for as long as it's going, which only goes for like a minute or two. So that doesn't work for the long term. Yeah, and oh, that is the other thing this unit does, is it does vibrate. So this one does vibrate, which of course a crib does not. So that might be something else she likes. I've actually tried a swing. I have a swing in here that you can't see it, but it's to the left of me here. that I've tried putting her in and swinging her, and sometimes she takes to that, but in the last couple days she's not wanted to be in there either. Um, uh, yeah. Oh, cat claws. Helix is a klutzy cat. Uh, what about sleeping bag at baby beds where you put your bed? Could lie with her for a little bit and then you could get up while she was sleeping. I haven't seen those. That might be something I'll have to look into. I know there's some bedside bassinets that you can use to get the blankets to smell like you. I have thought about taking the sheets off and like putting in the chair I sit in and just kind of having, like when I'm nursing her stuff, just have that sheet around me and then put it back in the crib and trying to see if that would work um, for the smells. That might definitely be an idea. Uh, so yeah, lots of good ideas here. I'm definitely going to have to try. I think the problem is you don't want extra blankets and stuff, loose blankets and stuff in there. So warming a swaddling blanket or something like that before putting it around her might help. She does get hot very easily, so I do have this, those halo swaddles that they're basically a sleep sack with the two flaps that you can swaddle them in. I have a thicker fleece one, and I found that even if she's wearing a lightweight outfit underneath that, she actually tends to overheat in that. So I haven't been using the heavyweight one recently. I have been using lighter weight ones to try to see if that helps. But like I said, she keeps getting her arms loose and waking herself up. Um, Recently learned that your 8-year-old cat will let you trim his claws. Wow. Helix, well, I don't trim him too much because he's indoor outdoor, so I like him to have his defenses outdoors. Um, but yeah, he used to be indoor only cat, and I used to actually try to trim his claws. He would let me do maybe one paw at a time, and I have that same problem with Puddin'. I gotta trim her claws as well, trim her nails, but because they're getting way too long. But she doesn't like it either, so I can do a few at a time, basically. Um, okay, so thank you guys for number of ideas. Uh, Otherwise, the one issue we had first couple weeks with Bella that we kind of briefly mentioned but didn't really focus on was initially, how babies lose weight at the beginning. They usually gain it back within 2 weeks, but she was not gaining weight at the very beginning. She has started gaining weight though. So we have another pediatrician visit on Tuesday, so we'll see how much she's gained. She's not quite back to her birth weight, but she's almost back to her birth weight, which was better than what her first 2 weeks were like. She was kind of flatlined, she wasn't growing. But I think she's actually nursing a lot better as well and taking a lot more in to the point where she sometimes gets to a point of spitting up. So, best advice, just enjoy the sleep. That's nice because, yeah, each stage has its own challenges, but you don't want them to go very fast. It is really fun to have a cuddly baby. It just kind of be nice to be able to set her down once in a while. So yeah, working on that. Mike has helped occasionally at night as well when she gets fussy. Because what I'll do is I will have some extra milk for a bottle and he can use that at night occasionally. So he has helped out with some of the nighttime wake ups. But yeah, we've had challenges with that. But otherwise, one thing I was going to ask Mike, actually, the funny thing was, I was going to ask Mike, I can't do Ask the Chef tonight because I don't have answers to that. And he goes, well, you could talk about tea. I'm like, he's so funny. Yes, we can talk about tea if you're interested in tea. I have my favorite brand of tea. So changing the topic here, I should really see if they want me to promote them at all. I do not get paid by this company at all, but it is like the only brand I drink. It's Harney and Sons, and their tea, I will basically, doesn't get bitter. I have a mint tea going right now, but I usually drink the black teas in the morning. So like an English breakfast or whatnot. But you can actually, I've had it at work, leaving the tea bag in there steeping, and then had to see a patient and get back to it an hour later, and it's not bitter. So the green teas will get bitter if you leave it too long. But um, so Mike did suggest a book, you guys, for you guys, if you're interested. There's a book called Culinary Teas, or the culinary, yeah, culinary tea. More than 150 recipes steeped in tradition from around the world. Has a little bit on the history of tea, different types of tea and where they're from and how to steep it, and also a lot of recipes that use tea in their recipes, which is kind of cool. So the company that wrote this book and that I like is called Harney and Sons. Um, it's Harney and Sons Tea. Harney's cinnamon spice tea is a wonderful tea. That is one of my favorites. I am like you, Carrie. I don't like coffee. I like the smell of coffee, but I don't like the taste. But I love tea. And it is an American company that sources tea from around the world. They're based out of Connecticut, and Mike has actually had a tour of their facilities in Connecticut before. When we lived in New York, of course, we're only like probably an hour or so from the headquarters of Honey Tea. So we found it in New York. Usually buy it online at this point. You can find it on Amazon, or you can find it. Of course, they have their own webpage and stuff. We usually search around each time we buy tea from them, because uh, different locations will sometimes have better deals on it, and sometimes they beat out the actual company's pricing on it. But around the New York City area, New York and New Jersey, there is a store called Fairway. Fairways is a huge grocery store with a lot of specialty products, and I believe there's probably 4 or 5 of them now. That's where we were first able to buy the tea locally when we lived in New York, but we haven't been able to buy it here, except in Michigan. The one company I have seen that has it in their, it's not retail. I mean, well, it's not a grocery store, but I have noticed that Traverse Pie Company in Michigan does have Harney tea as well, or at least a few varieties if you're ever having lunch at Traverse Pie Company. Um, but they have a great English breakfast tea. They have one called Paris that's really nice black tea as well. The hot cinnamon spice tea that Kara mentioned is a black tea with cinnamon in it that's really good. Um, and I drink that year round. Um, there's a number of green teas that are really good. There's a Japanese sencha tea. There's a whole bunch of different ones. Their mint tea I drink often in the evenings if I'm drinking tea. So yeah, I do like my tea. Um, but that, and then this book is, I was flipping through it. I have not, you know, looked at it too much because I don't do much cooking, but it does have a lot of information on the different teas and a lot of um, recipes with it, like sesame ginger garlic dressing, a Darjeeling tea vinaigrette, uh, ugh, can't switch the pages, smoky tea spice pecans, um, tempura fried fresh tea leaves. I mean, they have so many different tea marbled eggs, so many different recipes in this book. I'm going to have to take a look at it. Might have to try some of them. Um, the tea laced eggs are actually on the cover of the book here, but looks interesting. I will try to put that into a link to that into our kit. But yeah, that was actually written by the Harney and Sons Tea, and they have a history of their company. They have a history of tea and where it comes from. Um, oh no, you can drink coffee fine, but the tea gives you a stomach ache. A lot of people, it's the reverse on that one. Um, I can't drink like Lipton tea and stuff. I could hardly drink that. I'd have to put a lot of other things in it to kind of help the flavor out. But these guys, I don't put anything in there. Indirect tea question. Anyone use a glass Pyrex teapot on an electric stove? Not sure what to buy to set the teapot on. Yeah, I've not used a glass teapot on an electric stove at all. I have a metal teapot on our electric stove. I also have a teapot back here that is on our fireplace. And for the most part, I use that teapot mainly to just humidify the air when we have a fire going. But we'll also put some different things, scented things from outside, basically like lavender or spearmint or something from our garden outside. I'll use to scent the air a little bit when we have the fire going. But not sure if there's a way to do the Pyrex teapot on an electric stove at all. If anyone knows the answer to that, go ahead and answer that. But trying to see if there's anything else here. So those of you guys in Michigan, there's that one place that has it that I've seen. If you guys see it anywhere else, let me know, because I'm always on the lookout for this tea. Wish I had better selections of tea. Yeah, this one I can't find in the grocery stores around here at all. I have not seen it at all. But like I said, Amazon does have it, and their webpage does have it. So Harney and Sons, I'm pretty sure it'll be harneyandsons.com, but double check that. If you do a search for Harney and Sons tea, you'll find it. There was a metal wire-like thing that went under it. Okay. Wasn't able to find another one of them. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. You might be able to maybe look up Pyrex and see if you can find something through their site. You don't trust yourself with the teapots. Caught one on fire because I'm so scared. Forgot about it. Oh no. Just use a Keurig. Yeah, mine whistles. So I can't forget about it. So I do have a teapot on my stove that will whistle. I usually try to grab it before it starts whistling because our previous dogs used to react to the whistling, although Puddin does not, so that's good. Yeah, you can check the thrift stores. There's a nice one in Ann Arbor called the Treasure Mart that sometimes has a lot of kitchenware stuff, but I haven't seen any glass Pyrex teapots or such there, but I haven't really looked for it. They're a huge place. But thrift shops, yeah. Yeah, so that's basically what I had on there today. Of course, I do get some herbal tea just from outside, so that's the only other type of tea I'll drink. And I will drink Nobby's herbal tea as well, because she has like 50 different herbs in her tea. Wouldn't even know how to go through all of them. I know how to identify some of them, but about 100 different kinds on Amazon and eBay. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'd probably go straight to the Pyrex site and see if you can find one that matches your teapot. Not necessarily buy it there, but at least that way you know what it looks like and then look around for, or what they call it, and then you can look around for it. You might just have to buy it there too. Your saucepan whistles. That's nice. This teapot back here does not whistle, so I do have to watch when this runs out of water, but the one on my stove definitely whistles. You were in the basement and couldn't hear it. Oh no. Yeah. Need a baby monitor for your teapot? Hubby tried to get you unwrapped it up, but when I opened it, it was broken. Oh no. Yeah, me and the glass, I probably stick without the glass. I know I've had so many family members go through so many of the glass carafes for the coffee pot those things break like crazy. I'll stick with my my metal teapot. Um, I do have a ceramic decorative teapot, but that's for after heating up your water. Um, oh no, it was a hand-me-down from mom, probably from the 70s. Okay. Uh, Yep, so that is really, I have not had that much going on this week, and I was asking Mike if we should do a live show tonight because I'm like, what are we going to talk about? If you guys have any other questions about anything or any questions you want me to pass on to Mike, that would, uh, we can do that. I think the only other thing we have that we've been doing today is trying to prep a little bit for the cold that we're going to get this in the next couple days. We did bring some things that are uh, not so cold tolerant in from our greenhouse. We had a Trinidad pepper plant or what we think is Trinidad pepper plant, might be crossed with something else, that we're growing in our greenhouse, but we brought it in today because it's going to get so cold outside that even if it's 20 over the outside temperature in the greenhouse, it's not going to be a good temperature for that plant. We had some um, lemongrass, just little starts that put in pot and brought inside. Um, some beach plums that I was supposed to get in the ground last spring and never did get in the ground, so they came inside because they weren't doing as well last winter. They survived last winter in the pots outside, so probably could survive the greenhouse, but we brought them in. So doing that, we'll have to figure out for the chickens tomorrow if we need any extra protection, wind protection, or anything else from there. Hi, Food Forest. Um, okay, so much lime in my water only. Oh, okay. Yeah, we have well water here, so our water is actually pretty darn good. It's very sand filtered on our soils. Um, and it basically filters through the sand and goes right out to Lake Michigan. But let's see. Would a coop heater work in our greenhouse? I don't really heat my chicken coops. The one I don't use heat lamps out there at all at this point. The only thing I used last year when we got down to -15 at night was I had these little radiating units that I put one in the silkies and one in the main flock. It doesn't really heat the whole coop, but it basically um, warms any chickens that are near it. So I put those out there, but only in extreme temperature. I don't think it would heat a whole greenhouse. Once all the leaves fall from the trees in front, we do get a nice warm up in our greenhouse during the day. It's just when we get to really cold nights. Again, we talked about last week that we made some adjustments to the greenhouse, so we're hoping it'll hold the temperature a little bit better than it did last year at night, but we'll have to see on that. Um, yeah, water's filtered through lime rock. Uh, rocket stove in the greenhouse, yes, you could do that. Definitely. I'd love to have a rocket stove. Actually, I'd love to have a rocket stove for our workshop because that would make it really nice to be able to work out there year round. Um, our greenhouse is right off our front door, so we'd have to be careful with a rocket stove there. Could do it. I mean, those things are nice and compact. Mainly, I just need something to hold the daytime warmth. So, trying to get some heat sinks in the greenhouse for, because it does warm up there quite a bit during the day. We'll get up to 30 degrees over outside temperature at times if it's a sunny day. So, and once all the leaves are off the trees, we still have a few leaves on trees, so it's not completely sunny in there yet. But I would actually, if any of you guys have tried rocket stoves, I would love to hear your experience with those because that is one thing I'd love to be able to do. Uh, like I said, probably not in the house just because of our zoning. It probably get, unless you know of one that would be approved for in-house use, but in the workshop would be really nice. Um, and trying to see if there's anything else. So other things that we have coming up, other than moving the chickens, we actually still have to finish prepping the winter coops out, pulling. Uh, my father-in-law pulled a lot of the bedding from the runs and put it in the garden, but we need to pull the bedding out from the last year's bedding from the coop out into the runs and then put new bedding in the coop. So we have a lot to prep there that we haven't gotten to, and I'm not much help right now. She just took a big sigh. No, I'm not much help right now in being able to do much of that, and it will be challenging to do that as it gets colder and having to hold the baby, unless we get someone to watch her. So we'll have to see where we go with that. We have to spend a day, I think, trying to work on that project and winterizing the chickens. But I think they'll survive a couple days in the teens out in their current ones. Cob oven will keep the greenhouse and workshop warm. Yeah, there's a lot of yeah, a lot of that. Now, I'd rather passively heat the greenhouse than actively heat it in general. That's our goal, and part of that is since it's right off a picture window in front, we're hoping that it was getting some of the heat from the house as well. Um, so actually, we have a whole series of videos on that greenhouse build from last year, and I do want to see if I can have more things grow. I think I could grow some greens out there and such. I just, again, haven't had time to do that. So get back into things. And now that I'm figuring out how to wear a baby and try to do things a little bit more, that might help. Might be able to get some of that done, but it definitely slows things down quite a bit. Um, Otherwise, I think that's all I have right now. I know it's been a short show tonight, unless there's other questions. Um, Mainly baby stuff going on, but like I said, we have a lot of projects on the to-do list if we can get to it. And I will start working on videos again here in the next week or so. I've never had food from a cob oven. You know what I would like to do food for? I'd love the other thing along those lines I'd love to do is to have a pizza. Helix, go away. Pizza oven uh, out by our fire pit and do like a bread or pizza oven, maybe rocket stove type. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out someday too. But having that out by our fireplace. Yeah, Amy, that wearing baby, I'm getting used to it. The only thing is I still don't completely have two free hands yet because I have to watch her head. Um, I do have a backpack as well, one of the Ergo 360 backpacks with the infant insert. I still have to watch where she's leaning and that she's not covering her face completely because she does like to bury her face and that's not good for breathing. So, but that's another thing that helps. I'm going to try to work on that. But this little sling-like thing, it actually could be set up like this or set up like a sling with the two rings on the shoulder. So I haven't tried that setup yet, but oh, are we getting upset? I think she's dreaming. She was making a big face. Um, but yeah, again, I just started doing this weekend, so if I'm getting used to it, I'm just trying to figure out how to get it so her head doesn't flop around, so I don't have to hold her head with my hand. That would be the trick. Any suggestions there? Let me know too. Um, Good night, Food Forest. Yeah, pizza made in cob ovens. Yeah, just fire oven, yeah, fire roasted pizzas or whatever you want to call them are just like the best pizzas anyway. So, because you got to have the oven that's hot enough to really cook, make a crispy crust. But I think we should wrap it up. Mike is not home yet. I know that wasn't our normal kind of show tonight, but I didn't want to cancel the show completely. Do want to thank you guys all for showing up and coming. We will be back to our normal show, I believe, next week. So, and I will start working on webpage videos probably this week, especially now that I have a wearable baby. That gives me, at least sitting down here, I have two hands to type. Um, yeah, 3 different styles of wearables. Yes. So I basically have 3 different styles. Backpack, this cloth, the way it's set up, and then I can set it up as a sling as well. But I'm just starting to figure these out, so we'll see how it works. Yeah, wood fire oven. Thank you. Okay, guys. I am going to say goodnight because I don't have much else that's news here at our house today. We'll be back with Ask the Chef next week, so bring your questions, and we will probably have more baby pictures to show you next week. But thank you guys for joining us. Um, yes, Green Raven, go test your elderberry syrup. I hope you feel better. And we will see you next week, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Talk to you soon.